What are the most historic examples of a director refusing to play it safe? Is it William Friedkin sending a stunt driver flying down live Brooklyn streets at 90 miles an hour without a permit, praying a civilian isn't killed?
I just wanted to get on film something that excited me.
Steven Spielberg battling the ocean whilst his mechanical shark malfunctioned and his 55-day shoot tripled.
The first time we tested the shark, it sunk.
Francis Ford Coppola threatening to shoot himself in the Philippine jungle whilst his set flooded. His lead actor had a heart attack, and his helicopters flew off mid-shoot to fight off a guerrilla army.
My film is not about Vietnam. It is Vietnam.
Or is it Werner Herzog dragging a steamship over a mountain, whilst dealing with the monumental ego of this maniac?
Nature here is vile and base.
You could argue that filmmaking, in its most natural state, is an act of pure, unadulterated madness. This video is brought to you by MUBI, a curated streaming service dedicated to elevating great cinema from all around the globe. Get a whole month free at mubi.com/thediscardedimage. What's the traditional way of making a movie? I think it was established by Alfred Hitchcock, who would religiously storyboard his films to the point where, when he actually arrived on set, he felt like the film was already made, and found the physical process of shooting boring. This template has been followed and evolved by more modern filmmakers who want to remove that element of chaos. The Coen brothers so meticulously script and storyboard that you can find them casually reading the morning paper on set while shots are being set up. Or there's Wes Anderson, who goes even further by using detailed animatics to completely plot out his camera moves in pre-production, essentially treating his actors like puppets in a highly controlled diorama.
Quand un tournage est surplanifié, surpréparé, ça devient simplement une application pratique de ce qu'on a déjà pu imaginer.
That was Jean-Luc Godard. Well, not literally. This is Jean-Luc Godard.
Moi, je suis un drogué du cinéma et un cinéphile.
That was an actor playing him in Richard Linklater's recent film Nouvelle Vague, which charted the frenetic, groundbreaking creation of Godard's 1960 debut feature. Breathless was the big bang of modern cinema. Those manic high-wire productions we just talked about, The French Connection, Jaws, and Apocalypse Now, all draw from that same DNA. The auteur-driven explosion of New Hollywood was built on the shoulders of the French New Wave. Godard is celebrated for the way he broke the medium down to its bare elements, having zero regard for the rules established during classical Hollywood, and reinventing the way a story is told on screen.
Allez, la caméra.
What gets talked about the most are his technical innovations, the run-and-gun shooting style, jump cuts, and direct-to-camera breaking the fourth wall. But what Linklater highlights in Nouvelle Vague is how this radical reconstruction was only possible because of a unique live-wire process on set.
Moi, ce que je veux, c'est commencer chaque journée sans savoir ce que je vais filmer. Je veux chercher.
Unlike Alfred Hitchcock, a director Godard worshipped, he didn't want anything planned out. For him, being on a soundstage with meticulous lighting grids, giant crews, and a 12-hour day spent grinding through a pre-made shot list felt completely dead. Instead, he took inspiration from the documentary-like methods of Roberto Rossellini, the titan of Italian neorealism.
Méprisez les formes traditionnelles du cinéma. Souvenez-vous, tournez vite. Interrompez le tournage dès que l'inspiration fléchit.
If he was shooting and no longer felt a creative spark, he would stop and call it a day, even if he had only shot for 2 hours.
On passe à la suite? Non, c'est tout pour aujourd'hui. J'ai plus d'idées. On remballe?
Godard didn't have a script, just notebooks. He felt that sitting in a room for months writing would take him in circles. Each morning before they started shooting, he would sit in a cafe writing his plans for the day. He needed the intensity of being under the gun. He wanted to feel inspired by the real world, so he shot on location. He threw out artificial lighting and rejected the machinery of Hollywood to pursue what he called the instantaneous.
Tout ce dont cette scène a besoin. La spontanéité.
Considering he only had a 20-day shoot, this was a very risky strategy. But because he shot so fast and did very few takes, it worked. This style of location shooting with handheld cameras and small crews is of course commonplace today. But very few directors adopt the entire ethos of what made Breathless work, that willingness to step onto a set and let the environment dictate the movie. 30 years later, on the other side of the world, Wong Kar-wai took that exact same blueprint to make Chungking Express. His crew ran into the chaotic streets of Hong Kong, shooting without permits and dodging security in Chungking mansions to finish the entire film in just 23 days. This inspired everything about the way the film was shot. Its frenetic camera work and editing style were a direct result of having to move so fast. But it made sense, as they were capturing the dizzying, kinetic velocity of the city. Like Breathless, the film didn't have a finished script. Wong only had a conceptual framework about 2 separate stories featuring lovesick policemen. Much like Godard's cafe routine, Wong wrote the script night by night and over breakfast in his hotel room. He would hand the actors freshly scribbled pages containing their dialogue just hours or minutes before the camera rolled, something Godard also did in Breathless.
L'effet précis du jour.
Although this approach is challenging for actors at first, eventually it liberates them and allows filmmakers to adapt to the intuitions of their performers. Wong found that, whilst his regular star Tony Leung was classically trained and methodical, Faye Wong was a free, impulsive and unpredictable actress. It caused him to go with her flow, which is why the camera seems to bounce along with her energy. On Breathless, there was no sync sound, so Godard could feed his actors lines during the middle of a take.
Tu connais William Faulkner?
Tu connais William Faulkner?
It meant he could improvise his film like a jazz band leader. Wong played music on set, which plays a huge part in the film, with numerous tracks repeating throughout. It put the actors in an almost dreamlike state, helping the cast and crew all synchronize into the correct rhythm of the movie. If Chungking Express was Wong Kar-wai's Breathless, then In the Mood for Love seems like the polar opposite. Watching the film, it appears hyper-formal and exquisitely structured. Every frame looks like it's been so carefully orchestrated, you would assume it was planned down to the millimetre on a storyboard years in advance. But Wong's underlying philosophy hadn't changed. Instead of a 23-day sprint, In the Mood for Love took an agonising 15 months to shoot. But like Godard, Wong used that time to search. Originally, the film was going to be multiple stories like Chungking Express, but as he began shooting, he realised only the conflicted romance between 2 married people, whose spouses are both having an affair, was the only story that drew him in. He became focused on the minute details and small gestures of these 2 lovers who couldn't express their feelings. Like with his previous film, the actors never had much time to learn their dialogue, and he'd frequently alter scenes, telling them to play in dozens of contrasting ways. The shoot went on for so long, the actors felt lost, but this helped their performances because it reflected the characters' mindsets. Their disorientation is precisely what gives the film its haunting, delicate intimacy. The characters are searching for certainty on screen because the actors were searching for it in real life. Wong wants to explore every idea he has, and follows his inspirations until he's finally got nothing left, and that becomes the film. In the editing process, he continued to hone things and lost entire subplots, because he shot 30 times more footage than he needed. The film was essentially moulded like a sculpture, until the resulting masterpiece was formed. Another director who pushes this philosophy to its absolute limit is Terrence Malick, taking Wong Kar-wai's high shooting ratios to an almost absurd extreme. Malick has been known to shoot up to 250 times the length of the finished film, cycling through the same scene in endlessly different configurations, whether that's with full dialogue or in complete silence, trying to replicate the same emotional weight without a single spoken word. He'll shoot the exact same beats under altered lighting setups, or at completely different times of day, just to watch how the atmosphere shifts. But where Wong might lose a subplot in the edit, Malick takes it a step further and erases entire actors. During The Thin Red Line, Adrian Brody arrived at the premiere believing he was the film's lead, only to sit in the theatre and discover his central role had been stripped down to a handful of lines and a few silent reaction shots. Much like Godard handing out freshly written slips of paper on set every morning, Malick gives his cast pages of lofty, poetic thought, only to frustrate them by abandoning the scripted scene mid-take because a stray breeze or a passing bird caught his eye. On The Tree of Life, he threw non-professional child actors into scenes with classically trained performers, using their raw, untrained presence to torpedo any sense of calculated acting. He applies that same philosophy to entire locations. On Song to Song, Malick threw his A-list cast directly into the chaos of real-life music festivals like Austin City Limits without a rigid plan, letting them wander and interact with actual crowds and musicians to react to whatever unpredictable moments the environment threw at them. This isn't a departure from Wong's approach, it's an extension of it. Where Wong uses music to choreograph a stylized rhythmic dance between camera and actor, Malick pushes that dynamic even further into the physical space around them. He isn't just staging a dance, he's trying to build a triple synchronicity between actor, camera, and the living world, chasing those rare, fleeting moments where performance, light, and nature happen to align. For Malick, that spontaneous piece of nature isn't a background detail, it's the only true, unfakeable reality on set. Of all these directors, his work carries a profound, almost ethereal spirituality. But that transcendent quality isn't something you can write on a page or schedule on a call sheet. You have to be out in the world, completely open in the moment, waiting for reality to reveal itself. Jean-Luc Godard was a filmmaker who blew me away when I first discovered his work. I vividly remember when I first saw Alphaville, his radical hybrid of film noir and dystopian sci-fi. Instead of building futuristic sets, Godard shot on location in 1960s Paris, turning it into a haunting alien metropolis. It has stunning black and white imagery, and a great performance by Godard's star and muse, Anna Karina. It was made as their marriage was falling apart, which gives this hyper-stylized film a surprisingly raw, tender undercurrent. It's an absolutely essential watch, and currently streaming on MUBI in the US and Canada. MUBI is a curated streaming service dedicated to elevating great cinema from all around the globe. From iconic directors to emerging visionaries, every single film is hand-selected by their team of curators. You can try MUBI free for 30 days right now at mubi.com/thediscardedimage, or just click the link in the description below to start watching today.